Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to night number 39 of the Overnight Feed Recaps for Big Brother Season 27. It's Saturday, which means we had nominations yesterday. We've got Veto today. So the nominations have been picked. We'll certainly talk about that. It was a good day and night. We also now know who's going to be competing in the veto. I held off recording just a little bit so I could get that as well. So we know who's going to actually be competing in the OTEF competition today. We'll talk about that at the very end. But let's start off with the feeds returning after the nominations. Before we do that, though, I do want to cover one pre-nom meeting that took place between Mickey and Rachel. Mickey, feeling like there could be some danger, if not for her, at least for some of her allies in the house, approached Rachel. They went up and talked for quite a while up in the HOH room. Mickey trying to make peace with Rachel before the nominations took place, talking about how much she loves Rachel, how she would never put up Rachel on the block, right? I mean, the love just emanates from Mickey for the past few weeks when talking about Rachel. She said, "I love you, Rachel. I would never put you up on the block." Finally, she says, "Hey, can you just tell me something and be very honest?" Right? Yeah, sure. Tell me, say, "I promise." Rachel's, "All right, well, I promise." She said, "Can you be honest and tell me how we are and how you're feeling with everything?" At which point, Rachel let loose on Mickey, telling Mickey that she felt betrayed by her, then listing all kinds of grievances about she knew they were coming for Rachel, about we'll call it grilled cheese gate. We'll talk about that some in a second as well. But just basically feeling like Mickey has not been on Rachel's side here recently. Mickey trying to explain away all of the things that Rachel's bringing up, trying to explain why she did them, why she was justified in doing them. At the end of this conversation, I'm sure Mickey walked away thinking that the conversation was successful, that she and Rachel had quashed any beef they had, and all is good with Mickey for the week. Well, let's see what happens a little bit later. So we did have, and the other thing she did while she was in there, she really pushed for Kat and Riley to be going on the block because again, Mickey not worried just for herself, but also worried for some of her allies such as Morgan and Vince to a degree as well. So pushing for Kat and Riley, but really thinking that she's kind of kept Rachel under control like she's done with some other house guest, like she did with Ava last week in the HOH that Ava had. So walking away feeling pretty good, I think, with the situation. All right, now let's talk about the feeds coming back and the noms and a whole lot of repercussions. So the feeds were off, came back around 5 o'clock or so, Big Brother time, and we learn that Rachel's nominations are Morgan, expected, Vince, expected, and Mickey. Maybe expected by some, not expected by Mickey. And Mickey is not handling it well. Mickey throughout yesterday and last night just not sitting well with the idea that the person who has basically controlled a lot of this house for several weeks is suddenly sitting at the bottom and not really feeling like she has the control that she thought she did. And we're going to talk a lot about that. So the feeds are back. Morgan, Mickey, and Vince again are on the block. Apparently, and of course, we didn't see it on the feeds, but apparently, based on some comments that Vince had a little bit later while talking to Morgan, apparently Rachel called out Morgan and Vince, saying that they've both been running the house since day number one. I thought it was interesting. She did not apparently call out Mickey as part of that. Just these two, and maybe there's some strategy to that. But yeah, saying that they've been running the house since day one, and so that's why they're on the block. All right, so let's start with the live feeds. As soon as the feeds come back, we've got Morgan talking to Rachel. We'll cover that in just a second. But we also have Mickey and was that right? I think actually to start with, it was Mickey and Morgan and Ashley and Will in the downstairs Venom Lounge, bar lounge, whatever they're calling that. In the downstairs lounge, Mickey is crying. Before we even realize who the noms are, it's pretty obvious that Mickey is not feeling happy with how the noms went. Mickey is going off eventually about Rachel during this and some other conversations right after the fact. Mickey is saying that Rachel lied to her face. She's calling Rachel nasty, manipulative, and conniving. She's saying she hadn't changed in 15 years. This is the way she was 15 years ago. She's every bit as nasty, manipulative, and conniving as now as she was back then. Mickey's saying that she'll say that to Rachel's face. She doesn't care. She'll say it to her face. I kind of hope she does. I'd love to see that. Mickey is saying that she isn't a yes woman, and she isn't there to stroke Rachel's ego. Except, I guess, when you're having meetings right before noms and you're trying to stay off the block. And then you can stroke and kiss and be a yes man completely. But she's saying she doesn't do that at all. Mickey is saying that she's done being nice, saying that having a husband, she keeps going off on Rachel's husband and kids and age and everything else. She's saying that having a husband and kids doesn't make you a better person. And she's saying Rachel is 40 years old. She shouldn't even be here. Is Mickey saying that there's a certain age at which you shouldn't be allowed to or shouldn't think it okay to play the game of Big Brother? Mickey, you and I are going to disagree on that a little bit. I think it's important that people of all ages get the opportunity to show what they can do in games like this. Life doesn't end at the age of 40, doesn't end at the age of 80 either. For some people, but I digress. Now, play the game. It doesn't matter age, but Mickey really is just hung up on Rachel, I guess, being a little bit different stage of life than the rest of them, and she should not even be here. She should be home with her children. Yeah, Mickey, we'll have a talk about that some point. Hey, it could be pretty quick that we could have discussions face to face. All right. Meanwhile, we've got Rachel and Morgan. They're upstairs hashing things out as well. They're basically acknowledging that they were targeting each other. Although Morgan says, "Look, you weren't my target, Rachel. It was Keanu." She said, "Yeah, maybe you would have gone up. Maybe who knows if he pulled himself off the block, but." Keanu was my primary target, Rachel. And Rachel saying, well, I knew you were coming after me, so why shouldn't I go after you? They're kind of being honest with each other while also kind of being a little superficial, I suppose, with each other. But they're trying to hash things out. Morgan definitely trying to make a little more nice with Rachel than the other way around. Rachel finishes this conversation by saying, look, I don't see a path for us to work together. And Morgan says something like, well, we could reset maybe. And Rachel saying, yeah, no, I don't see a path for us. We've seen Rachel talk to Vince and others saying, look, water under the bridge. Let's reset. Let's try to start again. She's done it with Keanu. She's done it with Vince. Doesn't look like she wants to do it with Morgan at all. The lines have been drawn a lot in this house over the past week or so. And Rachel's certainly helping push the process along. So yeah, not really finishing up with a strong kumbaya moment for these two. All right, we've got Will and Ava talking. They're agreeing that the optics aren't good for Mickey because she was running the house. She's kind of gotten called out for it, although it doesn't sound like she's called out during the nom ceremony, but people realize that, and it's just not looking good for Mickey right now. They're talking about Mickey lying. Mickey had just got through telling him that I wasn't coming after Rachel. That she wasn't my target. And they're saying, why is she lying? Just come clean. We know she was. She told us she was. And now she's trying to deny it. It just doesn't look good for Mickey right now, in Will and Ava's opinion. All right, we've got Morgan telling Will and Ashley that if unfortunately, if it's her and Mickey on the block Thursday, Morgan's going to be going home. She just doesn't think that she's got the votes against Mickey. And so really Mickey and Morgan and Vince to some degree, but especially Mickey and Morgan, it's all about trying to figure out how can we make sure one of us comes off the block before Thursday. In other words, one of us needs to win this veto so we don't even have to rely on the blockbuster competition. All right, Morgan is thinking that Lauren maybe threw her under the bus to Rachel. She's talking about the fact, she talks to Vince about it later, that, hey, I only told 3 people. I told you, Vince, I told Mickey, and I told Lauren who my nominations were going to be, which included Rachel. And someone told Rachel that, and that's why she's coming after me. And I don't think it was you. I don't think it was Vince, but someone threw me under the bus. So she's thinking it must have been Lauren. And Morgan finishing up by saying, I want Keanu. That's who I want to ask Keanu. Yeah, some things never change in this house. All right, we've got Will talking to Mickey a little bit. At one point, Mickey gets called to the DR, and Will saying, just keep it classy. Just keep it classy, Mickey. I know you're upset, but just do, please. We haven't seen the DR, but I'm looking forward to seeing them on Sunday. That's going to be good. Sunday or Wednesday. I'm not sure when we'll get the DRs about the nominations, but anyway, he's saying, hey, keep it classy. Will's also telling Mickey not to make any more food for the other side, referencing, let's just talk about now, grilled cheesegate. The silliest thing, but food playing a role this season. We heard, was it Mickey and Rachel at one point who'd gotten called out because someone had said, was it Keanu said they were going to, or Jimmy or Vince, I don't know, they were going to cook their way to the top. Well, now food comes up again with grilled cheesegate. Apparently, Rachel was upset because Rachel and Kelly were walking around the house, and Mickey came as they passed through the kitchen. Mickey said hello and offered to fix Kelly a grilled cheese sandwich, but did not offer to fix Rachel a grilled cheese sandwich. And Rachel took that as a sign that Mickey was trying to ice her out. They had a conversation about it earlier, and Rachel had brought this up to Mickey, and Mickey said, look, I knew you wouldn't eat a grilled cheese sandwich. I know your food, you eat when you eat and all of that. I wasn't doing it to ice you out. I did it just because I knew you weren't going to want a sandwich and Kelly would, and that's why I did it. And Rachel saying, yeah, you should have still offered it to me. So yeah, we got grilled cheesecake. So now Will's telling Mickey, don't make any more food for the other side. Let them fix their own food if they're going to do it like this. See how that goes. Later, we see how it goes later. Later, Mickey tells Morgan that Kelly can pick her meat out with tweezers. Kelly's a vegan. Apparently, in the past, they've been cooking meals, not mixing in the meats with the rest of the foods until later, so Kelly can get something. Well, Mickey said enough of that, so she mixed in the meat with all the rest of the food and says, yeah, Kelly can just pick it out with tweezers. So Mickey not feeling real food friendly right now to the other side of the house. All right, we've got Mickey and Kat now talking. Mickey's still upset. Mickey's complaining that Kelly and Rachel are now best friends. How did that happen? They didn't like each other to start with, but suddenly now they're just best buddies now that Rachel is HOH. Mickey is calling Kelly the B word. So yeah, not real happy with Kelly at that, or with Kelly at all if she's doing that. Kat is saying that she and Riley would save Mickey over Morgan. So she's trying to make Mickey feel that at least, yeah, there's a silver lining here. If it comes down to you and Morgan, we're saving you, Mickey. You should be okay. Mickey presses and said, what if it's me versus Vince? Are you still going to save me? And Kat says, yeah, I'd still save you. Even at that, I'd still save you. Didn't seem quite as definite, but saying what Mickey wants to hear at least. Kat is wondering if there is a veto used, who could be the renom. She's wondering if, could it be Keanu? Is he still on the target list, perhaps? We don't know exactly how this relationship is set up. So Kat's wondering about that. Kat's also telling Mickey, she's wondering, could Morgan be the target and not you, Mickey? I mean, she called out Morgan and Vince for running the house. We know that she's upset with Morgan for wanting to put her on the block and all. Maybe you're up there, Mickey, which isn't great, but maybe you're not the target and things aren't quite as bad as you think. So Kat trying to keep Mickey a little more settled than she is right now. All right, we've got Rachel and Ashley talking a little bit. Ashley is saying that she was shocked at the nom, just absolutely shocked. Later, she says something about how to Vince maybe or Keanu saying, she didn't tell me. I thought we were tight. She didn't tell me who the noms were going to be. Rachel didn't tell anyone who the noms were going to be, as far as I know. But Ashley saying she was shocked at the noms. She's telling Rachel, saying, look, first of all, in making these picks, you've made a lot of enemies in this house that are going to come back to haunt you. She does tell Rachel, says, you could make it right by using the veto on Mickey. Pull her off the block, and I think, you can probably do some damage control and all of that. I'm not sure I think we're beyond that point. I think she could do that and still, she isn't going to be best buds with Mickey at this point in time. As if they ever were, but you know what I mean. But yeah, Ashley's saying, no, just make it right by pulling Mickey off the block with a veto and everything will be good. She's going on and on about Keanu and Kelly being better targets. She's saying, look, Rachel, they've been playing you. They continue to play you. Those are the ones that you need to be targeting, not Morgan and Mickey. That doesn't make any sense. Keanu and Kelly are who you need to be going after, really throwing them under the bus. She's saying that as well, Mickey had never mentioned targeting Rachel that she had ever heard. She said she just wasn't coming after you, Rachel. I never heard Mickey saying anything like that. Wrong. And even Ashley had just told Rachel 24 hours ago. So my last recap, I mentioned that Ashley had told Rachel that Mickey was would have been targeting Rachel. So yeah, but Ashley's flipping on that a little bit, saying, yeah, she was never talking about coming after you, Rachel. She's warning at Rachel again that she's made a lot of enemies. And she's saying, here's the other thing. Mickey's going to stay versus anyone. Even if she doesn't win Veto, even if she comes off the block at the Blockbuster, she's winning against anyone when it comes to votes. And as a result, she's going to be in this house after Thursday. So you need to repair this damage, Rachel, while you still can. Ashley, very pro Mickey and Morgan while having this particular conversation. All right. Ava has told Rachel that she likes Mickey. She said, I like Mickey. I don't have anything against her. She said, but I absolutely understand why you made the picks that you did, Rachel, and I'm cool with it. That's fine. They both talk about the fact that Mickey had tried to basically had taken over Ava's HOH in a lot of ways. And Ava is telling Rachel, saying, look, I like Mickey, but if I play and I win Veto, I'm not changing my nominations. I want to work with you. I'm fine with what you did, and I'm not changing my nomination. So don't worry about me and how I'm responding to this. All right, just right after that, we've got Ashley. Soon after that, we've got Ashley in the bunk room rehashing pretty much her entire conversation to Mickey, the conversation that she just had with Rachel. She's telling Mickey everything that took place. She's saying that she's telling Rachel everything that Rachel wants to hear and needs to hear in order to just try to save Mickey. So Ashley very much saying, oh, I'm doing whatever it takes, telling her whatever so I can get you saved, Mickey. Mickey at one point says, look, hey, Ashley, that's fine, but you need to pick a side. You're kissing up to Rachel. You're over here as well. You need to pick a side, Ashley, which Ashley has not been doing so far. So they're having quite the little conversation. And meanwhile, Ava is one of the upper bunks. Oh, I love these bunk houses. I wasn't sure at the start of the season if I would or not, but we wondered if people could hide in these things. Well, Ava has done it. It wasn't intentional. I think Ava was just up there trying to take a little, well, they don't call them naps. They call them meditations. I don't even think Big Brother cares anymore. Just call it a nap. But Ava's up there hanging out, trying to sleep. Mickey and Ashley don't realize that she's up there. So they're just having a nice little long conversation. And Ava's up there, as we find out later. Yeah, she most definitely is listening and picking up on everything that's going on. Later, she's going to fill Will in on all this conversation, saying, look, Will, Ashley is telling everything that Rachel said about Mickey, going right over and then telling Mickey about it. So there's no secrets in what Rachel's telling Ashley at this point in time. Ava tells Will after she conveys this, she says, look, I still like Mickey as a person, but I sure don't trust her as far as playing the game of Big Brother. All right, let's shift focus just a little bit for just a minute, and then we'll be right back to the griping and complaining and the betrayals and everything else that makes Big Brother fun. Let's talk about Showmance Land. A little bit of trouble in Showmance Land. Yesterday, Riley was crying in the shower because Kat had said she wanted to slow down, stay in your lane and slow the roll down a little bit, Riley. So he was a little upset yesterday, and now they're eating dinner together. Kat's trying to be playful, flirty, playful, call it what you will, but trying to be just nice and friendly to Riley, and he's just being all moody and short with her, and just not seeming to be in a fantastic mood at all. So I think he's still feeling a little hurt that she didn't just give in to everything that the speed that he wanted to proceed with. All right, let's get back to the craziness of the Big Brother house. We've got Kelly and Lauren talking. Kelly is hoping that noms stay the same. She says, in a perfect world, noms are going to stay the same. Vince will win Blockbuster, and then we'll send Mickey out the door. Kelly wants Mickey gone. She tells Lauren at one point, says, look, I think if there is a veto used, you could easily be the renom, Lauren. Don't want to scare you, but you could be the renom. But you'll be safe. Yeah, you're not going home, Lauren, against all these others that are going to be up there. You should be safe, even if you're the renom. Lauren is liking it. She certainly wants to hear that, but Lauren is worried that what if Mickey and Morgan both come off the block? One wins veto, one wins the blockbuster, and it's her and Vince that are on the block together. Does Lauren still have a chance against Vince? And we know Lauren and Vince are close, so she doesn't necessarily want to have to be up against him. So Lauren not feeling quite as safe as Kelly is wanting her to feel. All right, we've got Keanu and Vince talking. Keanu's saying, look, dude, you just need to win the veto. And Vince is saying, I know, I'm tired of coming in second. I want to win the veto. And Keanu's saying, you need to win it so you can pull yourself off the block. He says, if you get house guest choice, and if you pick me, and if I was to win veto, I'll use it on you. He said, I'll absolutely use it on you, but if I do, that's going to force me to show my cards, and I really would prefer not to do that. So you need to win it. Later, he tells Vince, he says, look, Rachel, I'll have to deal with Rachel on that about using the veto. I'm going to tell her that I trusted her with her nominations. Now she needs to trust me with my veto decision, and hopefully we'll make it work. He says, but I'll deal with that. I will use it on you, but you need to win it yourself, so we don't have to deal with that. And Vince is all for it. We'll see. Who's OTEV? Well, we'll talk a little bit about who we think can do well or not in OTEV. They're talking about the potential veto comps that could be taking place today. We don't need to talk about all that because we know it's going to be OTEV. They don't know that. Vince is very much saying, it's too early for OTEV. We've had a few people say that. Well, apparently it's not. All right, we've got Ashley and Morgan starting to talk in the bunk room at one point, but then Ava walks in. That when they realize it's Ava, it's not the end of the world. But then Rachel walks in and sits down as well. And then the conversation becomes a little quiet, a little awkward in the house right now. Not the yeah, not a lot of conversations taking place. All right, we've got Morgan and Vince talking. Both feel a little bad they're on the block. Morgan's wondering if Keanu. She's asking Vince. She says, "Does Keanu know that I threw him under the bus to Rachel?" Again, she had told Rachel, said, "Hey, I want Keanu was my target, not you, Rachel." She said, "Does Keanu know that yet?" And Vince is saying, "No, I don't think so. It hadn't come up. I don't believe that word has gotten back to him yet." Morgan is complaining. She says, everyone's leaving. I don't have Vince. You're the only person I've got in this house right now. She's worried. She says she doesn't think that she has the votes versus Mickey because she says if it comes down to it, Kat and Riley, they're both going to vote to save Mickey, and they're probably the swing votes. I won't survive against Mickey at all. Vince is saying he's not sure if he's got the votes versus Mickey or not. It's just too early. He doesn't really understand or know how that vote would go, and saying hopefully we don't have to mess with that. All right, Morgan is saying Morgan and Will are talking. There's Will saying they're both of them saying they just need to get Morgan or Mickey off the block. If it's only one of them on the block, then they're hoping that maybe Keanu could be the renom, and they could make it happen. Morgan's saying that, or it could be Lauren, and she said, "Hey, if it's Lauren, I'm voting her out." Yeah, she threw me under the bus, told Rachel maybe things she shouldn't have. So she said, if it's Keanu or Lauren, we should be good. Will saying it, hopefully a renom wouldn't be one of us on our side. And Morgan saying, I just can't picture her putting up Ashley or you or Ava. I don't think that's going to be the case. So they just need to make sure one of them is not on the block come voting come Thursday, and they still should be okay. All right, we've got Ava and Rachel talking a little bit more. Ava's saying that Ashley had told Rachel that Mickey is controlling the house, and then she turned around and told Mickey that Rachel is controlling the house. So they're recognizing that Ashley is playing both sides in this game right now. Rachel is saying that during her conversation with Mickey kept talking about the numbers that she can control. She's saying, for her going on and on how she's not a threat and all that, she sure is quick to throw out that she controls different people's votes and has so much influence in the house. And so, maybe not the best decision to actually talk about that in front of Rachel. And I think Ava says something like, I know she does, that she has that kind of influence, that she does control the votes. I'm just shocked that she would tell you that, Rachel. Yeah, maybe not the best move possible. Rachel's bringing up the possibility. I remember we had Ashley talking to Rachel and saying, hey, you could fix the damage by pulling Mickey off the block. That would go a long way towards it. Rachel is actually bringing up the possibility of using the veto on Mickey, saying, I could pull her off and just tell Mickey that you were never my target. This was just a little bit of a lesson to you. But that's all it is. And that's why I'm using the veto on you and repair the damage. I don't think that repairs the damage. I truly don't. And I'm a little shocked that Rachel is considering that. Maybe I don't know why she would say that to Ava if she wasn't considering it. I think maybe she's just bouncing ideas off of Ava. Maybe that indicates Rachel having perhaps more trust in Ava than just about anyone else in this house right now. We saw Ashley and Rachel tight. I feel like maybe Ava's starting to move up the ranks a little bit on that. So anyway, but Rachel is bringing up the fact that I could pull her off. That would be interesting. Don't do it, Rachel. I don't want her to do that. All right. Ava's saying that Mickey might have overplayed the game. We've heard Ava say she likes Mickey. She says she might have overplayed the game, but I really don't think that Mickey has a grand scheme of coming after you, Rachel. I don't think that was her plan. Maybe she brought up something, but I don't think her scheme really is to make you the primary target. They're talking more about the grilled cheese conversation and all that. The littlest things in this house can set people off, and you never know what is. Morgan talked about Keanu calling her a snake for the first 4 weeks of this season. I have a feeling we're going to be hearing about grilled cheeses for the next 4 weeks. It's just going to be like Jasmine and the muffin all over again. Now it's going to be grilled cheese. We'll see how that goes, but makes me hungry. Maybe I know what I'm having for lunch today. All right, we've got Will upstairs talking about Rachel's offer, or he's taking Rachel up on Rachel's offer to sleep in the HOH room. He says, I know Rachel's doing it for strategy. She's all game, all talk, and all that. He says, but that's all right. I'll take her up on it. So Will has moved upstairs, is going to be sleeping in the HOH room. While he's up there, Will and Rachel and Ava are talking. Lots of talk from these three about what they would do with the money if they won, helping out parents, paying off houses, taking loved ones on trips, things like that. Everyone dreams about that. All right, we've got Morgan and Vince talking a little bit. Morgan is saying that only 3 people. This is getting back. Morgan's saying that she'd only told 3 people that she would nominate Rachel, and that was her, Vince, Mickey, and Lauren. And she's just wondering who could have spilled the beans. She didn't think it was Vince. She didn't think it was Mickey. She says the problem is the only reason I'm on the block is because someone told Rachel that I was going to nominate her. Well, here's a hint. I mean, first of all, I almost feel I need to go back and check. I almost feel like Vince may have said something and not Lauren, although Lauren may have. I just don't know right now. But here's a little hint from Morgan. How about, and the rest of the house, how about stop talking about who you're going to put up as your nominations if you win HOH, and just wait until you actually win HOH. And then you can maybe discuss it with some of the people you trust the most. But we've got way too many people in this house who are so free and easy with their information about who they want to target. It only brings bad situations when you do that. And Morgan is seeing that. Morgan's paying the price. Don't talk about it until you win it. All right. She doesn't think it'd be Vince or Mickey that would spill the beans. She wants to talk to Rachel and maybe see if she can figure out who told her that. There's talk about using the veto. Morgan is worried. She thinks most house guests that won veto would not actually want to rock the boat, shake up the house, and use the veto. She's saying, I think Will or Ashley would probably use a veto and use it on myself or Mickey. So if we could get one of them to play, fantastic. Vince is wondering about Lauren. He says, you know what? I'm going to test Lauren a little bit. I'm going to ask her if I picked her to play, would she be willing to play if I got house guest choice? And would she be willing to use it on me if she won? He said, I'm going to ask her that, and I'm going to see if there's any hesitancy in her answer at all. And that'll give me a good feel for whether I think I should pick her or not. So he's going to test her a little bit on that one. Morgan is saying, hey, she's telling Vince that pick Lauren. Pick Lauren to play and let her blow up her game a little bit if she needs to, or it may help us to force her to blow up a game a little bit. Morgan is saying that she kind of feels bad for Lauren, that Lauren doesn't have a backbone in this game, but she didn't really do anything wrong. She just doesn't do anything. And so Morgan's feeling a little bit bad about maybe her being in bad positions. But if she's been throwing Morgan under the bus, then so be it. But yeah, Lauren doesn't have a backbone, according to Rachel. I mean, according to Morgan. All right, Mickey is saying that she doesn't know how she'll vote if it's between Vince and Mickey, but she thinks that Kat and Riley would be the deciding vote. So maybe it doesn't really matter how she would vote. I mean, did I say Mickey? Morgan doesn't know how she'd vote if it was between Vince and Mickey. But she thinks Kat and Riley would be the deciding vote. Morgan is also thinking that the veto could be Otev. She's correct. Vince saying, nah, it's way too early for that. He's not so correct. All right, we've got Riley and Kat and Rachel talking a little bit. Rachel's been really pushing the showmance and how romantic she thinks it is and all of that. She knows how to push the right buttons on different people, right? I don't know that she's quite as enthusiastic as she pushes, but it doesn't matter, does it? Perception is reality. Rachel talking about the showmance. Riley is saying he's so jealous of Rachel and Brendan. And he says, y'all been together. It's just, y'all have what I want. I'm so jealous of you. He says, 5 weeks is enough for me. 5 weeks is enough. I will be marrying Catherine Elizabeth. Mark my words, America viewers, August 14th. Mark my words, I will be marrying Kat. Riley then proceeds to tell Kat that you've got to accept it. You're stuck with me. You better accept it now because you're absolutely stuck with me. Uh, we could talk about this for hours, but we'll move on. All right, we got Morgan and Ashley talking. Ashley is saying that Rachel doesn't understand that everyone on this side of the house is all connected, that you can't go after one or two without going after everyone on this side, and Rachel just doesn't understand that. Morgan is saying that she doesn't think that she's got the votes to stay. Again, we've heard her say that before, and now they're talking about having to decide between Zach and Vince. Or I take that. Now she's going back and talking about last week and how hard it was having to decide between Zach and Vince, and she was forced to make these tough decisions. And now she's on the block, and life just isn't fair. All right. You're playing a game of Big Brother. You're already so far ahead of the curve, Morgan. Enjoy the experience, good and bad. It's just a game. As Ava said, no one's going to the electric chair. It's just a game. All right, we've got Keanu and Ashley talking just here at the very end of the evening. Ashley thought that Riley was going to go up on the block. She's saying these nominations that Rachel made are just terrible, 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 terrible. She's saying that Vince would not have come for Rachel, so why put him up at this point in time? Keanu is commenting on Rachel, saying that Morgan and Vince, commenting on this thing, saying, what was that with her saying that Morgan and Vince are running the game? I'm not really sure on that. Ashley does know that Vince and Keanu are a little tight. So, yeah, for her to say, Vince wouldn't have come for Rachel. And she's trying to establish some relationship here with Keanu. And then Keanu saying, what's that with Morgan and Vince running the game? Just not understanding what all's going on. Keanu saying, maybe Lauren would go up as a renom, but I could be the backdoor plan as well. Would that not be a shock for us as viewers, for Keanu, for everyone, if Rachel's true target was actually Keanu? I don't see it. And I'm not sure that Keanu, glass half full, 110% full for Keanu at all times. But I don't think Keanu actually believes it either. This is probably more for Ashley's benefit. But Keanu's saying, I could be the backdoor plan this week. Ashley is saying, talking about the vetoes and who would use it and all of that. Ashley's saying, look, you and I, Keanu, we might be the only ones who would actually win the veto if we wanted. I'd use it for Mickey or Morgan. You'd use it for Vince. I think everyone else in this house would just be chickens and they wouldn't use it at all. So it may just be you and I that would potentially use it. And with that, everyone in bed by 3 o'clock or so, Big Brother time, getting ready for the veto competition that will be taking place today. I held off putting this out there and publishing because over the last few weeks, we've had the veto picks, the veto players selected early in the day on Saturdays. Wanted to see if I could get out there. It paid off. We now know who the veto players are going to be for this week, playing in the iconic OTEF competition. Of course, you've got Rachel as HOH. You've got Morgan and Vince and Vicky as the nominees. We've got two more players playing today, and those two players are Lauren and Will. Yeah, so they're the ones that get to play in OTEV. We can speculate a little bit before we shut down. I don't know that Will's going to master OTEV. I don't know that Lauren even wants to win necessarily. I don't think Lauren's going to win this thing. I'm not sure that Rachel is going to excel at OTEV. She may surprise us, though. She's on a roll. I really think it comes down to Morgan and Mickey and Vince. And with that in mind, I got to give the inside track to Morgan as maybe having the best chance of winning OTEV. Of course, how well has she been going over memory and days and all that? You've got to have that knowledge as well, and I'm not sure she necessarily does. We'll see. But it easily could be Morgan winning this thing, pulling herself off the block, and then we see what happens. It doesn't matter. They're playing in OTEF. How exciting it's going to be. Guys, we'll shut it down now. I'll be back tomorrow to tell you who won veto. What does that mean for for relationships and the future of the week. It's going to be fantastic. Until then, enjoy y'all Saturday. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.